Good afternoon from New Zealand lockdown. As you can probably tell, we are no longer on trail. We're living in Wanaka, and I've just been editing our video and realised how much footage is actually missing. So my phone did get caught in a thunderstorm as we were like coming up to Auckland and through it, so I have lost quite a bit of footage, but I'm going to try and piece it together and voice over it best I can. But this video will be slightly different than the others, so I thought I'd just jump on here and explain why it's kind of weird, but yeah, hope you enjoy it anyway.
From Pikiri Beach, we headed for the hills, up and over Mount Tamahunga, which was a decent amount of climbing up and down. I also forgot to add that most of these videos are in portrait, as I've had to salvage them from our Instagram, so they are slightly lower quality. But I pinky promise that the video quality does improve drastically. Anyways, on our way back down we had a little incentive. The Domino's was only 64 k's away, and how our goal of Bluff was much further than that.
A little dot there, all the way over the road. So there.
Once reaching the road, we camped at a trail entrance, who baked us some goodies before heading into the Dome Valley Forest the following day.
Good morning, day 25 on the Araroa. Araroa. That's better. I'm with Shelby this morning. Got blue skies. 7 hours, 15 k's. Let's get it done.
Once you make it through, there's a cafe at the bottom, which whilst we were there was of course being renovated, but from what I've heard is now open, so make sure to plan a pit stop there. For us, we were continuing up to Moores Hill, which was a pretty steep climb for the end of the day, but worth it for our camping spot right at the top. The morning after, rain. It chucked it down for most of the morning, making the tracks super wet and slippy. This didn't dampen our spirits though, as we were on our way to Puhoi, which meant a pub lunch was in order, just in time for the sun to come out. We were stoked. We then spent the night at Paul's friends, and the morning after decided to have a kind of rest day, and just kayaked to Wonder home.
Nice relax on the legs. Team is behind us.
Before heading back to his friends that afternoon. What a treat.
Okay, so this day is the day where pretty much every little bit of footage that we have is now gone. I did want to mention it though, because it was a pretty full on day. I even made notes because it was a big day and I didn't just want to skip over it. So yeah, basically we headed to Araroa and crossed the estuary, which was fine. At low tide, hopped over the rocks before heading into Silverdale to like do a bit of shopping and get like bits from there. Then we headed to Stillwater and camped in, it was like a TA hiker's room, and it was epic. There was about 20 hikers there that we had never even met yet, so that was awesome. Played some indoor cricket, which was good. And then the day after we set out at low tide, which I think was about 10:30 from what I can remember, and it was a high low tide, like a super high low tide.
This is what we are faced with. That. I'm looking forward to doing that.
It came up to our necks, so we all crossed the estuary as a group, carrying our packs above our heads, but bloody hell, that was an intense day. It was then a fairly short and scenic hike into town where we did stop for lunch because it chucked it down. Like, it chucked it down for about half an hour, so we all stopped for lunch. And then that brings us to here, where we actually got video.
Half an hour's rain.
main road and back into a park. We got about 14 k's left till Auckland, so we're pushing on through pretty well. And we had a coffee break because the rain was pretty intense, but it's calmed down now. From Auckland, I've had to switch to something else because didn't realise how wet my shoes got when it rained earlier, but all my feet were like wrinkly and sore, so we've switched to this and we've only got 4k's to Auckland. So we're kind of split up from the team at the minute. We've got I think about 4 in front and 3 or 4 behind, so everyone's kind of staggering to the ferry at different times, but almost there, yay! Last hill before our ferry.
We were excited to be back in Auckland, and it's here where we took our next zero to get ourselves prepped for the rest of the trail.
So I just arrived in Auckland after a month of being here last. 34k day today, so a big day, but it's nice to be back in the city, and we've got Burger King, rest day tomorrow, so we're just going to chill tonight, and then yeah, that's it, chill.
With new packs, sleeping bags and some extra goodies, we sent back to Wellington all of the shit that we didn't need.
We got it in!
We felt re-energised and ready to hit the trail, regroup with our family and make our way out of the big city.
I'm going under the motorway! Camp for the night. There's some little chicks in the bushes. It's so cool being on a farm.
A little bit unnerving at times.
Can I put the crystal on it?
I'm so dirty, I don't wanna get-
Or is that too weird?
Leaving Auckland was surprisingly greener than we were expecting, and although there was still plenty of road walking, most of the way till Hamilton, that doesn't mean it has to be boring.
Welcome to State Highway 2. There's the T. That's the motorway. And that's where we're going. Shelf seller! Off we go. Off the motorway. Through the fields.
Okay, so today was another day where pretty much every little bit of footage is missing. I thought it was worth mentioning because it was a really nice hike. We hiked through some fields and along a riverbank, and it was pretty stunning actually, all the way through to Mercer, and then we stayed there overnight. For any of you who don't know, Mercer is a town that's more like a service station, but it did have a pub, so we did spend the night there, had some drinks, and watched a rugby before hiking out the next day.
Good morning, day 34. Paul's unsure of which trail we're going on.
Where's the orange marker?
Where's the orange markers?
This is a bloody door.
15 kilometres today if we can get up this hill. As you can see, we've got an Englishman with us. Oh, you get it.
No.
Is that actually not? So that was a real awesome walk up and down the hills, along the river, and now we're heading down along a gravel path, which I assume carries on down the river, but not quite as hilly, but yeah, awesome. Heading under the highway. So we're now currently right next to the motorway. So from the motorway, it leads you onto this nice little track with cows. So definitely a change from walking right next to the bypass, which is great. So yeah, nice to be back in nature a little bit. What we didn't realise at this point was that it would actually be a fairly challenging day, as no matter what or which markers we followed, we always ended up on the wrong side of the electric fence. This is what happens when you don't do the style. But the style down there was behind an electric fence, so this is our alternative. So yet again, we find ourselves on the wrong side of an electric fence. Oh, and there were lots of cows. And I absolutely love cows, but some of these guys can be pretty intimidating.
You have to go round through that.
He'll move. Especially when there's a herd of them. After then being caught in yet another thunderstorm, we made it to Rangirevi for the best pie in New Zealand. And drinks at the local pub to warm up. It was just what we needed. So currently leaving our camp in Rangirevi last night. I'm so glad we stayed there, it was such an awesome place. We stayed with a trail angel who owns the Rangirevi pie shop, and the pies were incredible. We got 2 vegan pies and they were like big rectangle pies. And I think they were around like $12 each, which seems pricey, but honestly, you get so much pie for that. And then we also got a camp spot for that as well, which was great. And then a few drinks at the pub, which was probably the nicest pub we've been to yet. And then today we are heading right now to Huntley. So we're gonna resupply there, dry our clothes a little bit because everything's just wet from the past few days of rain. So we're going to try and dry everything off and then head for the next little mountain.
Regardless of the ever-changing New Zealand weather, our tan lines were coming on pretty well.
We have arrived in Huntly. Camping for tonight with a view of that.
Of the moon.
Right, that. Say hello, Shelbs. Say hello, Paul.
Hi.
So we've now arrived at a stretching station. Working well. There's tomorrow's mountain range, 950 metres. Current situation, hiking through the jungle. Got Jordan did the hot tub. Although this is our view.